3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey guys, welcome back. Johnny Builds KSP here. Been off for a little bit. Summer happened and my laptop took a dump. But here we are, brand new laptop, and we are going to be doing just the easiest, dumbest space shuttle. Just the most basic space shuttle that we could possibly do. So obviously the first thing we're going to start off with is the shuttle itself, I guess, the orbiter vehicle, if you will. You're gonna find out during these videos, I'm not scientifically accurate. I'm not a rocket scientist. If you want every single detail there is, I suggest check out Scott Manley's videos. I don't do that. I'm just gonna get you there. We're gonna build the damn thing. So as you can see here, we are building the orbiter vehicle. I like to keep it simple with this one and just put a fuel tank in the front and in the back of the cargo bay. That helps for balance. And just gonna slap, obviously you're gonna use all the big ass stuff on this thing. And we're gonna sit back and build this for a second. Like I said, haven't made a video in a couple months. You know, summer happened. I have kids. I work. I don't intend on making this my career. This is just kind of a hobby. One of several hobbies. Obviously, if you follow me on Instagram or Reddit, I spend a lot of time just building wacky robotic things. I built the seaplane. UFO recently in the last couple weeks, both of which were featured on Kerbal Space Program's official Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. Check that out. That was awesome. 2 in 1 week. But back to the shuttle. I mean, there's this part here is pretty straightforward. Just build a damn airplane. If you can build an airplane, you can make a shuttle. I mean, the hardest part probably is re-entry. Beyond that, it's just you can turn anything into into a shuttle. But like I said, right now we're just going to do the basic one. This video does go kind of long, so I was trying to think of ways to fill time. I'm not a YouTuber. Am I supposed to talk the entire time? I don't know. Maybe. Would you like that? Probably not. You want some like cool background music? Haven't figured out if I needed to do that yet or not. But here we are. I figured, like, while I'm sitting here not doing much, I could probably scroll through my previous videos and maybe see if I can find some questions. Oh, I feel a sneeze. Am I gonna sneeze? Not gonna sneeze. Not yet. Well, this part's kind of important. So we're putting the engines on. Now I'm gonna remove all these from symmetry just to make them easier to adjust when we get to the VAB. But in testing this out, I realized I kind of screwed up this part. I would highly recommend putting the engines on once you get to the VAB, and you'll find out here in a little bit why. I'm pretty sure it's screwed with my Delta V, but all I'm doing is I'm using the rotation tool to get them all the same orientation, because that's going to help out here in the next step. We're going to give this thing a name. 01. I get tired of sifting through all the builds. And we're going to take off over to the VAB. So we'll see you in just a second. And no transition. So we're just going to call that back up. We're going to load that into the world, if you will. Oh, let's look at all that stuff. Just look at it. Oh, what do we got there? Okay, so here's the orbiter. I'm gonna click on that. It's gonna flip up. we're going to rotate it. Now, like I said, not scientifically accurate. I am not going to do the roll program. You can't see air quotes. I don't use a video, but I'm doing them. Just use your imagination. All right, so we're going to use the big decoupler. Look at me, learning words. Orange tanks, obviously. You can use some like Saturn V tanks if you want to. Is that one of the spaceships? I think so. But we got to use orange tanks because the space shuttle has orange tanks. Now, I'm playing on console. A lot of people are like, hey man, could I get a craft file? No, you can't. I'm on console. Fun fact, just got a really good laptop that could easily run this game, but I'm not going to do it because that kind of takes the fun out of doing it on console. Alright, so we got our 2 tanks. We're going to add some cones on top here. I made them orange just for fun. And we're going to move this up, 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 up. Now, if you're playing on console, to do this, to move it farther than like the limits, there's air quotes again, hold R1 or right bumper as you're moving it, because then you can basically move it as far as you want. Alright, now we're going to attach the solid rocket boosters to the sides. More decouplers. Isn't it a beauty? Like, everybody knows what the shuttle looks like. Like, honestly, this video's like a half an hour long, and there's like one thing you really need to know to make a shuttle. And this one thing will let you do like all the shuttles. So we're just moving these down so it's a little bit more balanced, like a little bit, like get the center of mass a little bit lower than where it is. As far as like the landing gears, I didn't talk about this, but the landing gears on the orbiter, you can set the back ones like far back. It's not like you're gonna take off with this thing, so you don't have to get it right behind the center of mass. But all right, we're gonna jack with staging, which is where I kind of run into a problem. Can't make this full size while I'm doing that. Anyway, so my delta V here keeps showing like 2,000. And I think that's because I put the engines on first, like in the spaceplane hangar instead of in the VAB. So trust me, it actually has like 4,000 delta V if you build it just like I do here. Put that fuel line on there. That way you could, if you have advanced tweakables on, which is in the settings menu, you can just open the menu for the decoupler and set to enable crossfeed, and then you can skip the fuel line. But what this is doing is it'll burn everything out of the orange tanks before it burns out of the tanks on the orbiter itself. So when you dump the orange tanks, you've got a crap ton of delta V left over. And right now, basically you're watching me panic as I built this because I can't figure out why I don't have 4,000 delta V when I know for a fact it should. And again, I'm pretty sure that's because I put the engines on in a spaceplane hangar. I would recommend you do it in the vehicle assembly building. In the meantime, maybe I should edit this out. Nah, you know what? You're here. We'll figure it out. This is the part of building that like probably Scott Manley and Matt Lowe don't show you, is like the freaking 20-30 minutes that they mess around with something just to have it not work. So I can tell you right now, when I first started making the video of this and I launched it the first time, it basically did a backflip into the VAB. Alright, it looks like I have sufficiently given up. That's the way you do it, man. Just to hell with it. I'm gonna put some struts or whatever the hell those things. I don't know what all this stuff's called, man. I just know how to use it. All right, just do what I'm doing. All right. So here's the important part. So you see how the center of thrust points straight up the orbiter. You got that little arrow on the top side of it. What you want to do is angle those engines backwards, like 2 clicks if you're using fine tuning. 1, 2, and you want that center of thrust, that little arrow at the very tip of it, to point right through the center of mass. And that right there is how you make a shuttle. That's the most important thing. That's it. Now, the real space shuttle orbiters have a couple engines on the back. Those are the, what do they call those? It's what they use for their orbiting maneuvers. They kill the big engines and just use the small ones. I don't do that. I'll show you a little workaround once we get into orbit. But like I said, the most important thing, any shuttle, if you see the couple of shuttles that I built in like the little intro section thing, the center of thrust has to point through the center of mass. That is like hands down the most important thing. Besides like more boosters or, you know, flamey side toward the ground. Right here, I'm just showing you how you would want to load a payload. So if you try to add a tank or whatever and build this thing inside the cargo bay, you're going to have a bad time. Use the offset tool, though, and shift that bad boy out of the cargo hold. And, oh, look at this. Oh, God, that makes life so much easier. And then all you got to do is offset it back inside of there. That saves so many headaches. Just shove it in. Yeah, yeah, look at that. Nice fit. But I'm not launching that. Why? Because I don't want to. You can load it with whatever you want. It's like going to Chipotle. You pick the inside. But I think that's about it. Oh, God. There's a beetle in here. Check your staging, which is all jacked up, as you can see. I like to put the clamps on their own stage after all the engines light, just for a little bit of control. Separatrons, those are nice additions to kick those SRBs out, but if you don't want to use those, you can just put the decoupler up higher, like toward the top of the SRB as opposed to the middle, and that'll help push clear. See, I have them down a little bit. If you put them up toward the top, it'll help them push clear when you jettison them, like mid-flight. But yeah, you can tell I'm not a professional YouTuber, so I'm turning you. All right, let's lift this thing off. Engines, clamps release. Notice I have the throttle at about 1/4 of the way up. And it's nice and smooth. Start the rotation a little bit early. You can play around with it. I don't know what the exact ascent profile should look like. Like I said, I got a general understanding of orbital mechanics, like super basic. But I'm really good at just building things. I know how things work. I can make them work. I understand the Kerbal system now. But we're just gonna go up, 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 up. Roll back a little bit. Like I said, I don't want to do the roll program. Honestly, it's kind of a pain. You can do it, but this is a basic shuttle. This is just to get your ass to orbit. And that ass is going to orbit. There goes the boosters. They kissed on the way down. Touch tips. So while we have the external tank still attached here, I'm going almost full throttle. It's really stable. This ship, it flies good. I'm not having to sit there and adjust anything. Now I'm checking my orbit height. going to see some slightly funky stuff here in a little bit. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to extend out the orbit without raising my height too much. So that's why I'm burning downwards a little bit, just to push it out without like giving me a 150 kilometer orbit. But see, if you watch over here on the left, my the fuel for the engines with that tank, once it hits 0, I can get rid of that, and then boom, it looks like magic fuel. And then one last thing I'm going to do before I circularize is I'm going to kill the bottom 2 engines. Now, this is what those little engines are on the real space shuttle. They would kill all 3 of these and then use those. But if you kill the bottom 2 there, you'll be able to fly straight. If you don't, then this thing's going to go like ass over head and want to do front flips. So we're just going to circularize. Once we get that going, I'm going to orbit the Earth about 16 times because I decided to launch this thing at night. And I want to land during the day, just for the re-entry process. I played with the fast forward on my handy dandy video editing app. I had actually recorded I recorded the shuttle tutorial like 2 months ago or a month ago, and then summer happened and I got out into other hobbies and stuff like that and forgot about it, so I had to re-record this. And then once I went to edit it, my editing software kept crashing, so I had to cancel that. And then I found a HP Omen laptop on Facebook for super cheap. Bought that from a good dude. I've been checking out some other games to see what this thing can handle on here. Been playing Space Engineers. That's a whole new monster. It's like learning to play Kerbal Space Program all over again, but worse. Now we're just going to circularize. 90% of this video is boring. Yeah, so I can go over my YouTube comments. Let's check some stuff out here. Let's check out some comments. Thanks, that helped a lot. You're welcome. Did that one. Pusher polar plane. This guy was trying to build a prop in the front and a prop in the back. That's easy. Leave both rotors running clockwise. And then put the rear rotor blades on counterclockwise with the painted side facing the front of the craft. So clockwise rotor on the front, clockwise blades with the paint facing the front. Clockwise rotor on the back, counterclockwise blades, paint facing the front. Set it up like you normally would. Boom. Pusher polar. Let's see what else we got here. Why is my plane going backwards? You set your authority limiter, or whatever they call that on the PC. You set that probably positive instead of negative. My engines won't start. Torque percentage is what starts those engines. See here. Cal 1000. This is, like I said, I'm just circularizing here. I could have probably cut all this out. You can fast forward. I think I'm gonna put like markers on here for. Yeah, that was funny. Put markers on here so you know what event takes place when. But if you don't know how to get something into orbit, I highly suggest you turn this off and go back and watch some different tutorials, because I ain't gonna help you with that. Alright, but now we're gonna try to land this baby. I like to do my deorbit burn on my shuttles right at the of the desert, so where the desert meets the ocean on this side of KSC. Now, if you're trying to land just like a pod on KSC, you kind of want to stop when it reaches the island. But since we're going to land an airplane and we're going to get a little vertical lift out of this toward the last end of the re-entry, aim for the mountains. Alright, here's where it gets fun. You know, see, PS4 graphics, not that bad. Not that bad. So re-entry's real simple with this. Honestly, like if you followed everything I did with like your own design, you're probably gonna get it to orbit, provided you have enough delta V. But where you could have a problems like re-entry. Re-entry is honestly like the toughest part of this whole thing when it comes to building. But as far as re-entry with this, I mean, nose up about 15 degrees and hold it there until it stops burning. But here we're coming down. I think about 60 kilometers we're going to start heating up. That's where the atmosphere kicks in. Yep. And we are coming in hot and heavy like high schoolers at the prom. Everybody down in the bottom right looks pretty excited there. Oh, yep, look, middle guy's going happy too. And you're gonna see your heat gauges going up. Don't worry about that; it'll be all right. Besides, you're on re-entry. It's either gonna happen or it's not at this point. Yep, just keep her right there at about 15. See my cursor moving around, and since I'm on PS4, that means I have no control over the craft when I'm doing that. So I mean, it's pretty stable. Not really having to do a whole lot with it. All right, like I said, we set our retrograde burn and had the end of our line right about the mountains. That's because we're pulling up this entire time. So once we slow down enough and start catching air, we're going to go upwards. So that's why you want to aim short, because you're gonna go long eventually. And if you don't know where KSC is, like just by looking at the map, it sets you a flag out there. It'll give you a marker, and then you can tune in on it. But I've been playing this long enough. I know where it's at on the map without having to have a guide for it. Leveling out flight. This thing doesn't have any air brakes or anything like that. If you want to kill some speed, just roll up or down a little bit. Right now we're coming in real good. I can see the airfield off in the distance there. I'll tell you what, guys, having this sweet new laptop's pretty awesome now. It's got like the lights on it. I can change the color of the lights on the keyboard. That's fun. So far it's ran everything that I've thrown at it. I went to my neighbor's house and borrowed his Wi-Fi so I could download some stuff because mine's not good. Otherwise I might try my hand in streaming, but then I'd have to show my stupid face. And nobody wants to see my stupid face. Except my wife. She married my stupid face. Alright, we're looking real good. We're pulling some F-18 maneuvers here. Nice little tight turn. That's it. You don't see them landing like that on Discovery Channel, do you? Like I said, I don't build these things to like historical accuracy. It's Kerbal Space Program. I guess my philosophy is just build the damn thing. We got gears down. We're lining up some more here. You can see some debris off some previous failed craft over there in the field. I got a whole slew of junk down there. Got some stuff out in the water. If I'm not mistaken, there's actually a craft on the runway currently, but that's okay. We're going to miss him. Or are we? Surprise ending! No, we are. This landing is pretty entertaining, though, because it does not go 100% well. I mean, it goes well, just not super great. But alright, I mean, at this point, I can't help you here. If you don't know how to land a plane, I'd go practice that first. I mean, the rule of thumb is don't smash you into the ground too hard. And probably don't do that. And definitely don't use this hill as a brake. Howdy-oop! And nailed it. Alright guys, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and I'll try not to get another video out in 2 months. Maybe next time we'll do it a little bit sooner. I think I might go over action groups. I don't know. But once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.